Ryan Alexander.
Good morning, Jay.
Best Las Vegas personal injury attorney? I've got some questions for you.
Yes.
You know, everybody at some point is going to need a personal injury attorney. At some point.
Unfortunately, the way people drive.
Yeah, right. Question. What are 5 things that you really need to look for when you're looking for a personal injury attorney?
When you're looking for a personal injury attorney, I would say the first most important thing is experience. You want to find somebody who has experience bringing injury claims and knows how to deal with the insurance companies, knows how to guide someone through both a claim and a lawsuit. And I think part of that is key because if you've done trial work and put trials on in court, you know then from the beginning of a case what's going to be important to a jury.
Right.
At the end.
Right.
And there are little things that early in a career you might not realize are actually big things if they play out, whether the person gets treatment quickly enough. The jurors have a big problem with that. If you don't get treatment within the first 3 to 4 days after a crash, they'll cut the award right down, even in a rear end collision. They'll find reasons, they weren't hurt that much, I guess, if they could wait 3 days. So things like that, it becomes operational is like, okay, well, we got to make sure you're getting care quickly.
Right.
And that you're following a good course of care. Because once you've done trials and you've cross-examined and deposed defense doctors, and they're the ones who are going to criticize the treatment that they received or whether they attended every appointment or, those things become really critical.
Right.
And so knowing the end game changes how you do the case from the beginning. And so finding someone with experience is key because they'll know how to guide you through those things right from the start and setting the case up properly. Because a lot of law firms are set up to run claims. They're set up to run insurance claims. But if they don't have that trial experience, they're going to possibly miss out on some things. So first off, I would say experience.
Well, it's interesting when you say that because I was just thinking as you're saying it, that's interesting because there could be the person who's been like an attorney for 15 years, but really doesn't have any experience.
Well, they could have experience in just one narrow area, but they've never cross-examined defense surgeons. They've never, and I say defense surgeons because there are certain ones that get hired over and over again to be the doctors for the insurance companies.
Right.
But they've never taken depositions or they've never put on a trial.
They've never been in the war.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's like they've done the prep work. Maybe they know how. It's like okay, they know how to prepare something, but they haven't followed it through.
Right.
So that is a key factor. I would say is the first most important factor is just finding someone who has been through that. And the second thing would be communication. Finding someone that you can get a hold of, that you can talk to, and
not just going to blow smoke.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you want to find someone where you're getting contact with an attorney, not just a case manager. Right. An attorney is running the file, handling the file, and you can talk to them. And that's something that we pride ourselves on. And for example, is like you're not, there are clerks and case managers and paralegals working on the file, but for all the major decisions, it's going to be handled by an attorney.
The interesting part about that is that how do you go between and figure out, because there's this salesman portion of it where you feel like you're getting a used car, like a used Toyota.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is that you don't need a hard sell. You don't need to be convinced hey, you've got to sign before you leave. If you feel that pressure, that should be a big red flag. And I've always taken the position that I don't need to be a hard sell. I can just present what we're going to do and the way the process works and teach them. If I spend time teaching somebody and making them comfortable with what's expected from us, from the insurance company, and from them over the next 3 to 4 months, then I don't need to be all right, sign now, don't leave until you sign the retainer agreement. It's you got to make people comfortable. Next up, I would say there's a certain level of grit or tenacity that you want to look for. You want to find somebody who's going to fight, who's going to dig in for you, and is not going to just roll over and take the first 2 or 3 offers.
But how do you know that they're going to, because everybody's going to tell you that they're going to do that.
Everyone says that same pitch, right? Like everyone says,
I'll fight for you.
I'm going to drink the blood of the, everyone has a bombastic pitch, but you've got to literally look and say, who is the honey badger who is going to really not give up and not double back and coerce me to take something early. Now, there is a point where the client might want to keep pushing, but you have to turn and tell them, okay, now this is it. This is really as good as it will probably get. And anything if we proceed further, there's going to be a trade-off where we're going to just spend more money, then it's actually going to recover for you. Like it's now hit that point where you've maximized it, which brings me to number 4, which would be honesty. And a certain level of blunt honesty, but that is also considerate. But again, telling you when you've hit the point where you've gotten to the maximum recovery or your optimal outcome. And it's tough sometimes. It's tough to hear. Some clients aren't prepared emotionally to hear it, like, hey, this is it. Whether it's the policy limits or whether that is just, again, our appraisal of the maximum value, or we've done a focus group and this is what it comes back at.
Right.
And those are tough conversations sometimes, because sometimes the client has an idea of value in their own mind or based on their own needs, personal needs, that aren't really related to their injuries in the case.
Right.
And so you have to learn how to balance that and communicate it in a way that they understand that this is where it is.
Right.
So honesty would be the 4th one. And last up, I would just say, like, finding a firm that has a purpose or having a lawyer that has a mission. And this is part of it, that we're doing injury cases is part of fulfilling that. And I think what you'll find is that the firms and the lawyers who have a greater sense of purpose about this take pride in doing the work and finishing it.
Right.
And if you're just in this for the money, and then like if the attorney is just in it for the money.
But how do you see that though? How do you see?
What you'll see that the person has a greater purpose other than just churn and burn policy limits, other than just get through as many cases as possible. Now, I'm not saying that business efficiency is a bad thing,
right.
But I'm just saying it's not the only thing.
For yourself, for example, you do a phenomenal amount of work within the community and all over the place. And I think it's easy to see when you are invested in the community, then you're going to be invested in your client. I mean, I can. It's very difficult for you not to be invested in one and not be invested in the other.
Yeah, and I think what I hope people see is that, like, look, as we go out and do things for other people, is that if you have a problem and you come to me, I'm going to treat you that way too. Right. Yeah. Maybe I don't always have a RC car and a pony or a stuffed animal for you, but right. But it's like either you like people or you don't. Right.
So the 5 things, just to summarize, are...
So I'd say experience, communication and accessibility of the attorney, grit and resilience, honesty in communication, and lastly, community activity and a sense of purpose.
Right. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, sir. Let's get to the next one. All right.
In the city of bright lights, when the road gets tough, when life is hard and you've had enough, you don't have to fight this battle alone. There's a lawyer in Vegas who treats you like home. Ryan Alexander, best Las Vegas personal injury. Ryan Alexander, he'll help you on your journey. Ryan Alexander, he's here to help. Ryan Alexander, he's here to help. You've carried enough, now let someone carry you. Somebody who listens, somebody who follows through. When life knocks you down, he shows up strong to fight for your right.